The war on drugs has been an utter failure, and I think that we need to rethink and decriminalize our marijuana laws.
Did you inhale?
Yeah. Well, you know, I was telling somebody asked this question. I said that was the point. My attitude is, if the science and doctors suggest that the best palliative care, the best way to relieve pain and suffering is through medical marijuana, then that's something that I'm open to, because there's no difference between that and morphine when it comes to just giving people relief from pain. The wrong way to go about it is simply to think that if you just crack down, lock up, don't care about recidivism rates, etc., that somehow you're going to see major improvement. And unfortunately, that's been the approach that we've taken, particularly when it comes to nonviolent drug offenses. I would not have the Justice Department prosecuting related medical marijuana. It's not a good use of our resources.
When Obama won the presidential election in 2008, supporters had hoped that patients abiding by state laws could use marijuana for medical purposes without fear of government intrusion.
Well, what the president said during the campaign, you'll be surprised to know, will be consistent with what we'll be doing here in law enforcement. He was my boss during the campaign. He is formally and technically and by law my boss now. And so what he said during the campaign is now American policy.
What I'm not going to be doing is using Justice Department resources to try to circumvent state laws on this issue.
This is a situation where the president's focused on foreign wars of aggression, healthcare, Social Security, taxes, and then the other issues get to be dictated by people who are at lower levels in the Obama administration. I think if Obama were focused on this issue, the White House policy would revert back to what the White House policy was when Obama first got elected, which was that if you're abiding by state law, that the feds will leave you alone. The original policy of the White House did not apply just to medical marijuana patients. The policy of the White House when Obama took office was to let patients, caregivers, and businesses such as dispensaries to leave all of them alone if they were abiding by state law. And that policy has then been whittled away by these prohibitionists in the Justice Department, so that now the policy is just the same as Bush's policy was, which was, we're not going to bust cancer patients, but we'll bust everyone else. So the fact that Obama's policy is in writing and saying they're not going to bust individual patients who are abiding state law is of little consolation, because no president in the history of the country has targeted individual medical marijuana patients. I think the question will be, is Obama willing to put the dogs in the Justice Department back on a leash so they can focus on real crimes rather than picking on medical marijuana businesses?